This is going to be my review of Orange is the New Black, which is a Netflix produced series. Basically, the plot of this show is that a girl named Piper Chapman is convicted of a crime from like a decade previous. She has to serve 15 months in a women's prison. That's the plot. She has a fiance, Larry Bloom, who is played by Jason Biggs, who we all know from American Pie. I think Jason Biggs is a really decent actor. He's funny and able to pull off serious scenes well. He seems really invested in the character. I enjoy him. The girl who plays Piper Chapman is fine. I don't know her from anything. I looked her up and I still have never seen anything that she was in. She's playing a girl that has had a very nice life fall into a situation where things are exactly the opposite. This show has a huge cast. I looked up a good number of the women who are in the prison with her just to kind of see what would trigger my brain because some of them did look a little bit familiar to me. And a couple of people stood out. Piper's girlfriend at the time that she committed the crime was Alex Voss, who is played by Laura Prepon, who played Donna on that 70s show. I literally didn't even recognize her for the first 10 or 15 minutes that she was on screen, and then it just clicked for me because her hair is different and her eyebrows are drawn on and she has glasses, but she is freaking excellent in this show. I think I've never seen her in something that I didn't like. The thing about this show is that they really have transformed all these beautiful actresses into prison inmates. They really have altered their appearance in a way where I didn't automatically know who everyone was just based on looking at them. For example, the cook in the prison, who goes by the name Red, the actress that played Red was actually Admiral Catherine Janeway on freaking Star Trek. In multiple things. Like, if you know who Janeway is, you know who that woman is. But on the show, she has real short red hair and speaks in a very thick accent and is just excellent. I feel like she's one of the main side characters, and you really do kind of attach to her because she plays kind of a mother hen who's also a real hard ass. There are a number of other side characters that really get closely featured on, and that actually leads me to my number one favorite part of the show. I'm not incredibly interested in the show itself. I don't have a lot of sympathy for the main character. Yeah, you committed a crime, now you're paying the time. Ooh, did I really just say that? But regardless of how I feel for the main character, the side characters' backstories are incredibly interesting. The show does take place in the present time, but cuts away to the backstory of any given character who's kind of being focused on in that given episode. Obviously, in the first episode, you see a little bit of Piper's backstory, where she meets Alex Voss, and they kind of fall in love and travel around the world, and, spoiler, they traffic drugs, which is the crime that she committed. And as a different side character gets focused on in an episode, you get to see what their backstory is and what their life was like before they ended up in prison. And I think that's actually way more interesting than any of the present day stuff. I've seen about 7.5 episodes of this show at this point. My number one gripe about this show is that I feel like it tries to be shocking for the sake of being shocking. It's a women's prison, so there's nudity and there's shots of women's body parts and there's extreme language and there is racial diversity and ethnic diversity and different belief structures, and they really push the limits on that about as far as they can. It's Netflix, so they don't have to deal with a regular TV rating, and I understand that it makes it more interesting, but for me, I don't give a crap about shocking for the sake of shocking. It doesn't really do anything for me. I am noticing a trend of me not really caring about the main character as much as I care about side characters. But you have to give me credit that in this show specifically, there are tons of interesting side characters. And I even find myself not really caring about someone, and then they start to go into the backstory, and suddenly I really have become invested in this person. I became extremely attached to these women for the pure fact that it would suck to be in prison. And that most of them are aware that they've committed a crime and that they're mostly sorry, or at least sorry they got caught. And the real shit thing is the situation. The taxpayer money doesn't really cover the things that they need, or even a little bit of extra things like Thanksgiving dinner. They don't get a turkey, they get whatever's left over. Aside from one officer that works in the prison, they're all completely jacked up. They all have a power trip going and abuse that power from time to time, and it really affects these women. They have no power, and even though you kind of are like, you committed a crime, so this is what you deserve, do they really deserve that specific treatment? I often wonder about America's penal system and what's going on with how we treat prisoners. Without going too far into those thoughts, I do believe that this is a fairly accurate representation of how people are supposed to be getting a punishment and end up paying in more ways than just what people on the outside are thinking they are. I like this show. It is beautifully filmed and endearing and touching and hard and grinds under your skin and all of these really good things. Like I said, I do find this show to be shocking for the sake of being shocking, and that's stupid to me. I don't really appreciate it. And they did kind of steal the whole flashback thing from Lost, right? Does anybody else think that? The whole flashback to the previous parts of their life is just like Lost. Anybody? Anybody? No? Just me? Okay. It's very watchable and addictive in a sense where the episodes are linked together and sometimes you wonder what's going to happen next, and that is good television, in my opinion. It's in no way my favorite show, and I can't give it like 1,000,000 stars, but I am enjoying it, and I probably will watch the rest of the season, mostly because it's on Netflix and I just click the play button and it's there. I guess I'll recommend this, but it's definitely not for everybody. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'll see you next time.
You just watched Stephanie talk. Don't forget to tell her what you thought. Share and like, maybe subscribe. Stephanie will see you all next time.